what I made is a script that converts MIDI file recordings into 3D CAD models. And this would allow for a really nice 3D visualization of what's going on in music, and it could even potentially be 3D printed, so you can have a physical object to hold, to look at, to just enjoy the appearance of, or even if you're like music theory minded, you could look at this object in order to get a much better grasp in just a glance of what's going on with the music, versus just like trying to pore over sheet music and do theory analysis that way. So what I've got here is, this is a representation of a chromatic scale, and going up on this vertical axis, that represents time in the MIDI recording, and the circle around the angles represent notes, and the radius out from it represents the octaves. So you can see we've got a chromatic scale here, and it has gone up 1 octave by the time it's gone through all 12 notes. And it's a little richer example. This is a MIDI recording I'll play for you real quick. Give it a second. So there's a drum and then someone playing some just various arpeggios in different chords. And so the blue here, different instruments are represented, and there are different MIDI tracks by different colors. So the blue is the drum track, the green is the piano, and you can see that by looking at this, there's the separations between the notes there. For the piano track, in MIDI, it's not so important for a drum track to actually have separation between the notes. So the drum track, you actually see these you can see where the hits are. The width represents velocity of these blocks. And there's these sort of drum lines going on. If you look for it, you can then kind of see where there's rotations going on in this changeover of the chords and whatnot. You can see it's an arpeggio structure, as like right here, this is in the same note line, but it's different octaves there, so that's the higher and lower octave that's going on in the arpeggio. And I'll stop boring you with such boring arpeggio stuff. I'll go to something probably more enjoyable and also familiar though. So this one, do a zoom out here. This is the Beatles' Let It Be, found the free MIDI file on the internet. And you can see there's a lot more instruments going on in this one. And you can really get an intuition just from like a glance of many features that are going on with it. For instance, this top right here, this is going to be C, and then counting around C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. So you can see there's a lot more stuff going on actually in C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Obviously the song is in C major, and you could, just from a glance at this, if you gain some familiarity with how to interpret this system, you could look at it and know a song where the major tonalities of it lie, things like that. There's some stuff going on down here. It's not so clear. Why is there like this stuff in here? Let It Be is not such a dissonant song to even contain any of these out of key notes. Turns out though, they are just the drum line. Again, you can see those like connected black ones with the drum line. So drum notes, obviously, they aren't really pitches anymore. They're not affecting the consonants or dissonance. Other features we can see are like the pink instrument. I'm not sure what it is in the recording, but it's going to be one of the higher pitched ones. As you can see, the pink is only really in the outer rings, so that's the upper octaves. Same with the tan. And I really think this sort of thing has a lot of potential, because if you were to 3D print this even, then you could get an even better view of what's going on than versus like just trying to manipulate it on screen, which is a little awkward, trying to get the views you want and all that. But then you could really have this object that's 3D, it's tangible, and it represents everything about the music in a way that you're not trying to read left to right and also up and down across the score to absorb what's going on with all the instruments. And that's already hard enough in just a single moment, let alone trying to understand the big picture of what's going on in a piece of music. Also, there's other applications. It could be kind of a fun physical medium for containing music. Once we have more ubiquity of 3D scanners and the like, you could write a little melody or find a MIDI melody you like and 3D print it for a friend and then give them this little object. And if they're musically minded and know how to look at this sort of system, maybe they could guess what song it is. If not, or either way, they can go throw it in a 3D scanner, do a reverse process, and you'll be playing the MIDI file of a song. And so it's a really nifty sort of possible physical medium that can remain relevant in an age when things are shifting to more digital means, but it would remain relevant through the fact that it is in fact created through these very futuristic technologies that we've got. And yeah.
Brilliant.
That's what I got.
3D printed and 3D scanned music. Sean Manson, thank you.